All right. Good to see everybody here tonight. Let's see. I'm still getting used to the group Zoom call. So if I'm looking around, it's because I'm trying to figure out how many people are here. And listen, you guys, if you put comments in the chat, please know that you're chatting with each other. I do not have the multitasking ability yet. to, and it's funny because like when Brittany does it, she usually uses me or Casey to kind of monitor the chat because it really is hard to do both. And with my old eyes, I can't even see. Like I need to switch glasses from computer to reader. So like I do not see the chat. So just so y'all know.
No worries.
Okay. All right. Well, good to see everybody here tonight. I wanted to start off like we normally start off buddy calls by sharing some wins and some insights. I know that you guys had a class with Brittany on Monday, right? And I see a lot of you. I think that because I watched part of it, so I see some familiar faces. Does anybody want to either kind of share their wins maybe since then? Okay, Roxanne's waving. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I had quite an experience last night. I was in what was probably a near fatal accident, and God saved me. And
Whoa.
I ended up being a witness. And I was on my way to a party with a bunch of church ladies. And I got there, and, okay, I can't order my great big shot of tequila right now, not with this group.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm going to splurge. Get me, and I don't drink soda very often. I said, get me a Diet Coke with 2 lemons in it. So that was my splurge.
That was your splurge. Nice.
Yes, but this location has wonderful fettuccine. And I went thinking, okay, I'm going to go get the salad. I've never got a salad there. I do the fettuccine. And
Yeah.
I was in there and I started tapping underneath the table, my fingers, like
Nice.
she taught
Nice.
us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that worked. And I have trouble gauging, okay, if it's a 10 and it drops to a 6, where am I? I'm a nurse, so what's your pain on 1 to 10?
Oh,
But that
right.
is really hard for some people to say. So this has been hard for me. And I work with another technique with animals, and I do muscle testing on their level of anxiety. So I'm doing my own muscle testing on myself to get my numbers. So
Wow.
I was at a 10. I needed that fettuccine because of what I had just been through. And
Sure.
I'm listening to everybody, and I'm just tapping underneath the table, and it comes down to a 6, and it comes down to a 3, and it came down to a 0. And I ordered a hamburger steak and salad.
Wow.
That was big. And also, somebody that last night brought us Amish, the kind that you give the starter. And she brought a whole bunch of loaves of raisin bread and handed it out. And I'm like, when I got home last night, it's boy, I really want some of that. So I tapped myself out of that and delivered it to my daughter today.
Oh, wow. That's
So I
those,
feel really good.
I guess so. I'm floored. That's amazing. That's a whole slew row in a row.
Yes,
Ah,
it was just beautiful. Everything fell into place.
wow. How long ago did you start the program, Roxanne? I don't.
I started the 5-day challenge or whatever it was, and then I did the thin, and I had to take a break because of a health issue, and I
Mhm.
just got back into it 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Okay.
and
Wow.
that's
Are
it.
you making some fantastic progress? Ah,
Thank
yay.
you.
That's amazing. And I'm so sorry about the accident, but thank God that you're good. You're
hmm
good.
Three
Wow.
3 seconds, and I probably wouldn't be here.
Mm, that is something else. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Thank you.
amazing. Amazing win. All right. Um, not great at this, but I don't see any other hands. Was there anyone else who wanted to either share what happened in class last time, or especially if you worked on this since then? I'd love to hear any stories of that. And I know you might not have. Okay, Marlene. Yeah.
Hi, I
Hi.
am so swamped with courses and ones that overlap each other. And then I tutor also, and so there's a lot of times I don't get on, and so I pretty well missed our first class. Anyway,
Okay.
um, but what I've done is I signed up with Thick and Thin last February or this
Okay.
year's February, and I missed all kinds of meetings because I was working and just not able to be on the computer. And
Yeah.
thinking lots of times that if I'm traveling with my cell phone, I'd be able to hear, but it cuts out and then you got to re-log in, and lots of times it
Yeah.
doesn't let you. So it's been really frustrating. So what I did was I re-signed up for the course, and
Okay.
which I'm glad of. And um, I'm writing on my calendar the times so that I don't miss so much instead of trying to go through emails because there's just so many emails that
Hmm.
not just from Brittany, but any course you take, they seem to double up on a lot of emails, reminders, which is good. But the other day,
Yeah.
I've had a couple good breakthroughs here in the last week or so. And
Okay.
I listened to something that you were talking about too that was really good. What it is right now, I don't remember. But anyways, at one point I heard you talking with Brittany. Anyway, one of the big breakthroughs was on self-sabotage and on body boundaries and on incest that happened from a brother when I was like in third grade that carried on for years. And
Okay.
from being able to release that, um, I could see where there was a lot of onion peels to need to come off yet. And
Yeah.
my brother died a year ago, October, and I flew halfway across the country to his funeral. And when everyone was gone and he was down in the ground, I sat there with a little stool that you can pop up and sat there in my black and white polka dotted dress and just gave him shit for everything. And my dad was 6 feet away from him where he's buried, and my dad treated my mom really bad and always arguing with her, breaking her heart to the point she had strokes in her 40s. And so I had so much trauma that I just have swallowed, and just
Literally.
thought that's the way our family was, right? But now I
Mm.
really see that that has been what the eating disorder has been about, right? And being able to look at what happened at that time and how I was really violated. And I'm seeing that there's layers of the onion that need to come off.
Yeah.
Anyway, I when I released that the other night with Brittany, um, I just totally lost interest in food. It just,
Wow.
looks like cardboard, right? And
Wow.
we did the throwing away, put it in the garbage technique, right? And I put my
Yeah.
ice cream in the garbage, and that's always been a big theme. And what I found out, here's something I found out from peeling that layer off, is that our family didn't, there was no arguing when people were eating because they were eating, and we're all big eaters, right?
Yeah.
And so my mom liked to feed us when she was well, and so my brothers always argued and then turned into a wrestling match, fist fight in the living room. It was a daily event. It was sickening,
Wow.
and I hated it. I just really hate disagreements. I hate controversy. I hate it. I hate destruction and all that because I saw it and I hated it.
Mm.
Anyways, I think what's happened is I've stuffed myself trying to get some sort of comfort and
Hmm.
fullness by using food instead of um I don't know how normal people do it, but
Yeah.
anyway, that's what I have done in my life, and that's what's put the weight on me. That's what's
Yeah.
made me, like whenever I've had my weight down, I had men showing interest in me, but it was all for sex. That's all they wanted. I thought it
Right.
was for a date to go and do something, right? But it
Yeah.
wasn't, right? And so I'm just starting to peel the big layers off the onion on
Yeah.
all this, I guess, childhood growing up trauma, right? So, anyways, just to realize that in the last week or so is
Yeah,
really
that's a
good,
lot.
right?
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that I'm part of this class and that it seems to be a bit more private of a class. Anyway, but I'm at the point in my life where whether it's private or not, I really don't care. I'm tired of dealing with it. And, as it gets revealed, by sharing it, maybe other people have had the same stuff feelings and have stuffed it with food
Oh,
and
yeah.
emptiness that just doesn't get full, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so anyways, I'm glad I'm here and I
That,
really appreciated hearing you. Thanks.
oh, no, no problem. That there was so much in there that I could talk about for hours, but just to hit on some things, I had a similar upbringing, different but similar. Just a lot of abuse every day, screaming, swearing, hitting. I mean, I was hit almost every single day by my brother or my father. So I get that. And it's a double whammy because we use the food, like you said, you don't know how normal people handle it. I don't know that there are normal people. You know how people handle it? Alcoholism, drug addiction, work addiction, codependence, name it. These are all coping mechanisms that we use to handle the trauma that we all have. Because even if you don't have like our level of the insanity that we grew up in, it can be much less intense than that, but it's still trauma. It's this is not a comparison show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and everybody deals with it somehow, like because when we're young, we don't know how to deal with it. Nobody gives us these tools. Not in this culture, not yet. I mean, I plan on giving it to my kids, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we just don't have the tools. So we shove
Mm-hmm.
it down because what else are you going to do? You have to function. You have to go to school. You have to go to work. You can't sit there and try to figure out what's going on because there's no time when you're younger and you're busy and you got to do all this stuff, right? And so then all these years later, here we are peeling away the onion, like you said, because the double whammy is not only does the food help you numb, it's kind of your drug, but it also gives you that extra layer of protection.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have had body boundary violations with, honestly, I believe that I don't think there's a woman on this planet that doesn't have some level of body boundary violation. I
Mm-hmm.
can't imagine that any woman gets through life without something that makes her feel uncomfortable in her body, whether it's a comment or a person that just gets too close. I just don't think anybody gets away without that. Now, some are much more intense than others, sure, but that extra layer, oh my gosh, I hung on to it with everything I had, and I'm still struggling to lose my last 50 pounds because that's, it got so out of control. I lost 100, but I still got 40 left to go. I don't know. I'll know when I get there. You really have to look at it like it's a double whammy. You're holding down those emotions and you're repressing, and that's really unhealthy. But on top of it, we kind of want the extra weight because it's safe, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. And the coping mechanisms, I was actually going to talk to you guys about this tonight. Again, I don't know what's in your program. Again, I got to look at Thrive, but there is a coping mechanism tapping script that we have that I absolutely love because we have an affinity to these coping mechanisms because they have been our comfort. They've been our friend. We're afraid to let them go. We're afraid to let the fat go. So that's kind of a topic for another day, but I can't wait to teach on it because I think that's really important too. Because I held on to it. Oh my God, my fat was my friend. My eating disorder was my friend because it defined me and it kept me safe. And oh my gosh, like when you can release that, it's fantastic. So anyway, thank you so much for sharing. That was
Thank you.
awesome. I'm so glad you're
Thank
having
you.
such great progress. All
Thank you.
right. All right. Did anybody else have a hand up? I saw one earlier, but I think it went away.
It was probably mine, and it's Dawn. You're Dawn, right?
Yes, I'm Dawn.
Okay, and I'm
I know it says
Daphne.
BW because I'm in her account, but yeah, Dawn.
Yeah, I went up and down, and this is why. I'm in the place of, and I shared this a little bit of really rationalizing, and did such a good job of rationalizing the body boundary violations that happened. And so Brittany had given me, and a thought, a suggestion to feel into the rationalizations, and the phrase I kept using was, I refuse to give this power. And to
Okay.
tap on that. And so I tried to tap on that, and I'm learning how to tap by myself and how to do that. So I stumbled a little bit, but I think a part, and I really appreciate what Marlene was saying in terms of just having to peel stuff away,
Yeah.
that I think I really have been so good at minimizing the trauma that happened. And I'm sure all of us can relate to this if we've had some of that horrific trauma.
Yeah.
Um, Again, not to differentiate too much because trauma is trauma. Um,
Right.
but I I don't really know how you get to a place of giving something, putting something back in reality.
Mm.
And
Once
and
you've
I'm
taken it out for so long, right? Yeah.
yes, I mean,
Yeah.
for the earliest, I was 5 years old and I'm 62 now. And, I learned how to rationalize this really well. And so that's a piece. I don't know if you'll get into any of that kind of training or talk, or how you bring stuff back to reality when you compartmentalized it so well.
Well, and for so long. And
Mm-hmm.
it got so comfortable being in that little box in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of like things are getting peeled away a little bit. And I do feel a little uncomfortableness.
Hmm.
If I was really honest with myself deep in my soul, and I do think that the weight that I have, it is a protection mechanism from something to do with these body boundaries, but I truly cannot identify it, which is an odd place for me to be.
Yeah, that is probably something that you're going to want to work with your coach on
Okay.
because yeah, when I was really lucky because I married a man who we talk about our stuff constantly. So it gave me the opportunity through the last 30 years of our marriage. We have psychoanalyzed each other like every day. I don't know, it's just our thing. But it helped me to dig up stuff. And I still have things I can't remember. I'm not gonna tell you I remember everything. I don't. I've blocked out, parts. And we all do it again, survival mechanism, right?
Mhm.
It kept us alive, it kept us functioning. Because if we didn't have that, we probably couldn't have gone to work, you know?
So, Dawn, there's
So,
a little bit of difference here. I remember them in detail. In fact, I've
oh,
tapped in detail on some of the things. I mean, I remember how I felt. I remember the weather. I remember the slivers in my back. I remember lots.
wow.
I mean, I
Okay.
remember the details, but I don't feel the reality.
What came to me just now, the tell the story technique, I think might help
Okay.
you.
All right.
Because if you remember that much and you're not trying to go after memories that are so vague that you're having a hard
Mm-mm.
time pinpointing, okay, so you minimize them to survive. But now, as much as it hurts and nobody likes doing this, you got to dive back into those memories.
Great
It's,
tip. I will look for that technique.
Yeah, because I really think that you've got to move those memories out of the little box that you put them in the back of the closet,
Yeah.
and you got to take it out, you got to open it up. And I think that the telling the story when you get into the details and it takes bravery to let yourself feel it, like maybe you can talk about it, but not
Hmm.
feel it, but you're going to have to work towards merging those two because you got to, and those feelings are there, they're there.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, they're buried, and we are all really, really good at burying, right?
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah, they're just very well managed.
Yes, yes. I mean, honestly, I think that sometimes the women like in this group and women who struggle with this kind of thing, I think we're some of the strongest women around
Hmm.
because we have survived this stuff. We've risen above it, even though it meant pushing it down and all this wacky stuff happening. Hey, man, we're still here. Okay. And we're functioning. We're doing pretty good. And we're not in a gutter somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, we're
Don, I
strong.
would even go, there's probably lots of people here that are very successful people in their own right, and however
Yeah.
you define success.
Yep.
because we have kept moving forward and we haven't given up. And we
Yeah.
do believe there's something that can help us.
Yeah. And we never stop looking until
Right.
we find it, right?
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and Brittany even said that she gets a lot of overachievers. I think we might have that in common, a lot of us as well, because
Hmm.
you're so doggedly determined to keep
Yep.
going and keep going, and you're not going to let anything stop you. And here we are,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Yep. Yep.
That's okay. So I hope some of that helped. That's interesting
Well,
because I
this
do.
just looking into tell the story technique, I'm gonna look at that.
Yeah, yeah. And just
Thank
dive
you.
in. All right, great. All right, guys. So, what I want to talk to you briefly about, we're going to get into the work, and it's going to be somewhat similar to what you guys did on Monday. I wanted to kind of elaborate on a few things, though, as we go through this technique. I want you to think about a few things. First of all, you can start with small things, okay? Because body boundary violations, they're on such a wide spectrum. Some of them are so minor, or we call it minor. None of them are minor, but we call it minor because it's not abuse, whatever, right? You can start with, because I guarantee you that we all have so many of them. Comments that our mother-in-law said, comments that our husband, and we got so many of them, right? So feel free tonight to dig in deep on something that's heavy or to go a little lighter, because what we're learning here is the technique and the practice, okay? And then you can take it deeper later if you want. Feel free to take it deep now if you want, but I'm just kind of giving you the okay to, because we have such a wide spectrum that we can deal with. Like Marlene said, the onion has so many layers, right? Okay. The other thing, when you do the purge, get as physical as you're comfortable getting. I don't know if you guys are in a place where you can scream. If you can't, I know you all have seen Brittany do the silent scream, the where you're letting it out, but you're not actually screaming. If you can scream, go for it. Punch the air. And I've noticed people like holding back, and we are so used to keeping things contained. And that's not what we're here for, guys. We're here to let it rip. Okay. So when we do that's like the anger part of this. And I want you, if you've got a pillow to hit, if you don't, that's fine. You're learning the technique. You can do that part later. But generally speaking, you really want to let loose on that physical release of the emotion that you're feeling. Another thing is that the third chakra work, when we get to the part, if you guys remember from Monday, where we are saying, no, you don't get to do that. What I have noticed is that, again, because we're all so good at keeping things contained, what people will do is women have a tendency to go, if you're tapping and it's like, no, you don't do that to me. I don't want you to. If you guys can imagine the difference between where you still have a victimhood kind of position, like, no, I don't, you can't do you kind of hear how that still is embodying the victim? No, you don't get to, as opposed to, no, you don't get to touch me. And the difference is it's coming from your third chakra. And if you don't know what that is, it's where your stomach is, not your belly, where your belly button is, but above that, third chakra. And if you have to, if you can be tapping with one hand, put the other hand on your belly, and I want you to feel, no, feel it coming out of there, and just make it sound as guttural and as animalistic as you can, because the more you get that out, the better you're going to heal. Because we're done with the days of being nice little girls, okay? We're done with the days of making everybody else around us feel good. I mean, I'm not saying we're good and antisocial, but while we're here, we can be, okay? Because we're dealing with some serious stuff. So when we get to that point, I'm going to remind you to put at least one hand on your stomach. And I just want you to think of like almost vomiting from your third chakra as you speak. No, like the strongest that you can do it. Okay. And then the other thing was either you can look at it as the revenge part or the part where you deal with the perpetrator. I'm sorry, I love this part. Maybe I'm demented, but I love it. And I know Brittany told you guys this Monday, but please do not worry about being gross. Do not worry that you are psycho. If you want to chop them into pieces, chop them into pieces. I mean, everybody doesn't go there. But if you want to, go there, guys. Go there. You're not going to go out and do it in real life. And here we are allowed to take our revenge. And even if you don't want to look at it as revenge, just to get the anger out against this person who did this to you. Okay, so that's my little pre-speech. And I guess now let's all take a few deep breaths. I like to start with a few deep breaths. And then we'll start tapping through the points and get into the work of this evening. All right, so deep breath in. Hold it for a second and release. Just relaxing your body so you're ready for the work. Breathe in. Hold it and let it go. All right. Everybody check, make sure you're on mute. I see a couple people. Okay, yeah, they are. All right, everybody's on mute. Good. So you don't have to be afraid of making noise. All right, let's start tapping through the points. And I want you to recall the event that you want to work on today. And if you don't have an event in mind, think of a time where you did not feel safe in your body, whether it was a comment, a touch, whatever it was. So you can work with the feeling or you can work with the event. And I want you to see yourself. How old are you? Don't worry about whether it's accurate or not. Just see how old you are. Feel that anxiety start to increase as you enter into this memory. It can be challenging to step into your younger body, but see her there. See her there and slowly approach her. And if you can, I want you to step inside her body. If you can't, it's okay. Just be in the memory. Sit in the memory. You can be beside her if that's more comfortable for you, but be in that memory and start to remember what happened. Who was there? Think about what you're feeling right now in that moment. And keep tapping and say it out loud how you're feeling. I'm just going to give some examples. I'm hurt. I'm scared. I don't know what is going to happen next. What is he doing? What is happening? You guys say what's appropriate for your situation. Speak it out loud. Feel the feelings. Bring that emotion up. Don't worry, we won't have to deal with it for long, but bring that emotion up. Okay, feel that anxiety, the confusion. You want to run away. You're angry. What is happening? And notice your body's response. Are you filled with anxiety or are you frozen? Fight or flight? Frozen. Which one is it? We're going to work with either one of them through movement. All right. All that anxiety, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. And I want you now to start moving your body in whatever way that you have to release the anxiety, the anger. Feel what that younger version of yourself felt. You're in her body now. You are feeling this. And you are mad. Punch a pillow, scream into your hands, punch the air, punch something soft. Get it out of your body. Take a minute and do it. Stand up if you have to. Shake your whole body if you have to. Flap your hands. Punch the air. Get that anxiety out of your body. And when you're done, continue tapping through the points. Take a breath. Take a breath. If there's anything else left, shake it out now. If you got any residual anxiety, get it out now. And breathe. All right. Now we are going to take our power back. We're going to take it back. I want you to put one hand on your belly. One hand, keep tapping. And I want you to say everything that you did not say to that perpetrator back then, everything that you've been holding in for years, and I want you to say it from your gut. No, you do not get to touch me. Say whatever it is you have to say to claim your power back. This is my body, not your toy. You don't get to say that to me. Let it out, guys. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Let it go. The more you let it out, the more this is going to work for you. No! You do not get to do this. Get out! Now! Don't forget to breathe. Just tap through the points. Get off me. Shut your mouth. You don't get to say that to me. Breathe in and tapping through the points. Get it all out, everything that you want to say. All right, now for some of you, there might be another wave of emotion coming up. Not all of you, but some of you might have another wave of anxiety coming up. And if you feel that, that's okay. Get up and move your body, shake it out again. If you feel that anxiety coming up, shake it out, punch it out. You can combine it with the belly, taking your power back. Punch the air. No! I will not let you do this. You don't get to. Stop. Get out. Breathe. It is not okay for you to touch me. Get out. See yourself pushing them. Get out. No. If it's words, slap them in the face if you have to. You don't get to say that to me. Slow it down. You don't get to touch me. Say anything you have left, anything you have left to say it now. Okay. Now you can stop tapping for a minute, take a deep breath. But take a temperature check. If you have any more anxiety to get out, you go right ahead and you keep doing that. For the rest of us, I want us now to deal with this perpetrator in the way that we want to deal with him or her. All right, guys, start tapping through the points again. And this is where we get to visualize our revenge. You can kick them to another planet. You can banish them. You can beat the crap out of them until they are bloodied. If that is what you need to do, you can do anything you want to this person. All this that you have carried around for years, you take it out on them now. Let them have it. Get to breathe. Kick the crap out of them. Send them to jail. Watch them get abused in jail. Whatever you need to do. Give it another minute or so, about another minute. Do what you got to do. Get that revenge, get it out. Give them what they deserve. Okay, take a breath. You need to keep going, keep going. Breath. All right. Now, this part, I want us to imagine it ending differently. Rewrite your story. Take a breath, start tapping through the points, and visualize that situation happening a different way. Whether something goes different at the beginning that helps you to completely avoid that situation, whether something happens in the middle or the end. Visualize the whole story from the beginning to the middle to the end in a way that ends in a positive way, where the body boundary violation, the abuse, whatever it was, didn't happen. You avoided it. See yourself in this other situation that was happier, that went well, that you walked away from intact, feeling good even. Rewrite the script. Take a breath. Now, I just want you to see your younger self. And as the adult, I want you to take your younger self and either if they're small, take them into your lap on a rocking chair or something that you would do to mother this child. If they're a little older, give them a big hug and don't let go. And just pour all of your love, the love that you have for that beautiful child, beautiful young woman. She was so awesome. She is so awesome. She is so worthy of love and being cherished and being treated like a queen. Feel that energy going from you to her and just enveloping both of you all that love. Give her the understanding that she needed. Give it to her now. Continue to breathe. Let her just feel so loved and whole. Now you tell her you want to come with me. And as she does, scoop her up into a beautiful ball of light. She's just shining because that's her soul. Her soul shines. And you just bring her inside your heart and see her grow up through the years with all that love that you have to give her. That love that she never had, but now she is just swimming in it. Take a breath. Another minute if you need it. Powering her with love. Can't see many of you, so I can't tell who's done. Take another minute if you have to. All right. Anybody want to share insights, how it went, what worked, what didn't? Any comments, questions, anything? Okay. So nobody's raised. There we go. We got one. Thank you, Marlene. All right. What happened for you?
This is a pretty cool exercise, really, because what had happened was I'd always wanted my sister to play with me. I had one sister and four brothers, and I always wanted her to do stuff with me. And she never wanted to do anything, right? And so what ended up happening was how the incest started was she asked me to come into a bedroom where my brother was, and she says, "Look, Marlene, this is really fun." And she jumped on the bed, and he jumped on top of her and poked her, and she said, "You got to try this." And I said, "No, that's okay." Like I was in third grade. Anyways, skipping past all that to replaying the story, if she wouldn't have come to me that day, that would have never started that chapter in my life. If I
Yeah.
would have gone outside and hopped on a bicycle and even ridden around the yard, it just gives such a peace, right? And we
Yeah.
also had these toys. They were it was like a double circle, and you could get inside of it. It was a metal cage, and you could roll yourself around the yard. I don't know if you ever saw them. They're an old
Huh.
toy, right? But it was fun, and I see myself as getting in that toy and spinning around the yard and just being in myself and my content self, which normally I'm content in myself. If I
Yeah.
would have not thought she was tricking me, right? If I wouldn't have walked in that room, it would have changed the whole story of my life. Anyways, so it's
Yeah.
neat to put myself in a different place, right? Anyways, so
Yeah.
really a good exercise, right? Yeah,
So was that the part, so you're envisioning these other options at the part that we're rewriting the story, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Rewrite the story.
And it
Yeah,
just it's giving you a lot of peace is what I'm hearing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah,
How did it go? I'm just curious because that's an interesting story, and I do remember hearing because I did look at some of Monday's.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering how it went when you were dealing with the perpetrator because that's your sister, or it would be your brother, right?
My brother, my sister led me into it. Yeah.
Okay.
And like, hey, this is fun. Try it, right? You got to try this, right? And me
Yeah.
thinking that, okay, if I did that, maybe she would have something to do with me because I'd always wanted to like play school or Cowboys and Indians or anything like that when I was younger with her. And she never would do anything with me. She just showed no interest in me at all. So
Yeah.
when I gave my brother heck, and I'd asked my brother when I was 50, I went to his place in Minnesota and asked him, why did you do that? And he said, I really don't
He
know.
said what?
He said, I really don't know. And I kind of
Oh,
wonder if it's the curse of generations, like the seven generation curse. I kind of wonder if it's that. But um
wow.
I
But at least he admitted it though, right? I mean, I was
yeah,
waiting for him to, yeah, I
yeah,
was
he
waiting for
didn't
him to say
deny
it
it.
didn't happen.
And
Yeah.
it was a pretty lame answer, I thought, you know.
Yeah.
Um
About as lame as it gets, but I mean, what could he say? I don't know.
yeah, and I was confronted by him wanting intercourse up until probably 15. And when he came home
Wow.
from the army at when I was around 17, he came in my room and I told him, get the hell out of here, get out. And I couldn't believe that my parents were in the next room and didn't have any clue to this at all, right? Like,
Yeah.
how can you not have any clue, right? How
How
can you
could they
sleep
know?
through all this? How can you not investigate it more? How can you do that, right? And I just think
Yeah.
it's a generational curse. And I swore with my daughter I was breaking that curse. And
Yeah.
that was my biggest thing in raising my daughter was that never happened to her. Um, but I didn't get much satisfaction out of him saying, "Oh, I don't know why I did that." I don't know.
No.
Right? It was
You
lame.
it's interesting if you don't mind me asking a question because earlier you told us the story of him dying and you being at the grave.
Yeah.
Having done that, which is amazing work, did you find now when you do the work like we did tonight, are you still getting something out of the part where you are dealing with the perpetrator? Do you feel, I'm just curious because I never did that part of it
Yeah.
because mine are dead too. And
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, yeah, is it still an
I
onion?
um No, I think where the onion is now is in all the relationships I had after, you know, being in my high teens, right? I was
Yeah,
fairly attractive, but I never thought of myself as attractive, right?
right.
And I just thought maybe somebody interested in, going and having fun. Maybe we go to a show or, like normal boyfriend, girlfriends do. I thought that would happen at some time in my life, and it never did. It never did. Um, but when I went and chewed him out at the grave, that was so fantastic. And I'm serious. I was there for a couple hours, and it was just a dinky little town in Minnesota, and it was in October. And I sat on that stool and just let him have it. And then I turned to my dad, who's 6 feet away, and just let him have it for treating my mom so poorly. And what happened after 2 hours is my stool broke and I fell off my stool and
Oh
I
my
was
God.
rolling in the graveyard in my black and white polka dotted dress and I
Oh my
died
God.
laughing. I died laughing because I could see how stubborn they were and
Oh my
how my
gosh.
dad wasn't willing to talk about any of that kind of stuff ever. And my brother, I'm sure, was sick of hearing it. Anyway, I died laughing because I thought that's it. They had no control. They had no control.
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
the whole cemetery, it was like quiet and it was like because my dad was born and raised in that town, right? And
ah,
he had his parents there and his sister and brother-in-law and you know, it was it was a perfect moment to just let it out, right? I would really encourage anybody that's had
ah.
any
Yeah.
from anybody to go to their grave and just sit there and chew them out, chew their
Zoom
ass
out.
severely. And
That's just sounds awesome. I mean, yeah.
it was,
Um,
but I needed to face it through this program, right?
yeah.
And realize that that stuffing of emotions was actually has been the stuffing of food that's caused
Hmm.
like that. I can eat a lot of food, I could eat a lot of food. And it wasn't necessary to eat that much, but I just thought it tasted good. So it was always something that I wanted something good, right? And that was what was good that came out of stuff that I really didn't feel I had control over, right? So,
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
so hopefully I got that
One thing I
answer.
want to mention, I just want to make sure I don't forget. You mentioned your mom and dad. How could they not know? In future, when you're doing this work in the future, I would just like to encourage you to maybe dive into that a little bit, because you might have some resentment that you might not think it's a priority because it seems tangential, but I would bet that something is there. I mean, how could you not be angry, because it's a pretty good chance they had an idea, right? So anyway, I just
Yeah.
wanted to encourage you to maybe
Thank you.
look at that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Thank you.
right. Thanks for
Thanks.
sharing, Marlene.
You're
Thanks so much.
welcome.
This is
Thank you,
good
ladies.
stuff. All right. Anybody else? I saw some hands earlier. Not no.
There's two hands up. Can you see Shelley and then me?
Oh, you know what? Oh my gosh, did I totally not even see that? Okay, I need new glasses.
I don't
Until
know
you
if
said
those
that,
are, well, it's kind of hard to see if the background's light too.
they blend. Yeah. Okay. All right, great. So I will go with Grace, I'll go ahead and go with you first, and then we'll go to Shelley.
Well, go with Shelley because her hand up was longer than her.
Okay, okay. Hi, Shelley. Oh, you wanna yeah, there you go. Oh, you muted again. There you go.
Hi,
Hi, nice to meet you.
that was so awesome.
Good.
I had thought I had dealt with it in in my 20s, and I I didn't realize there was another layer there that I wasn't
Yeah.
dealing with. And it was that I've been hiding it from my family for my whole life
Mm,
because I don't see a point in them having to go through it, you know?
okay.
So, like, why bring it up now?
Yeah.
Because all it does is, you know, affect everyone in the family in a different way. And that doesn't help me. It just makes me more anxious. But I felt like I was able to beat the crap out of him.
Good.
And I was able to yell at him and scream at him like I couldn't do before. And that was very freeing, and being able to rewrite the script. And I was little, and I was cleaning my room when it happened. And this time I got all the way through cleaning my room, and I actually cleaned it. And I saw my mom come home and go, "Oh, you cleaned your room like I asked you to. Oh, aren't you wonderful? Isn't that great?" And I just felt the joy in that,
Mm,
because I've never liked a clean bedroom.
yeah.
I've since then I've never liked my bedroom to be clean, because I don't like to clean it because something bad could happen when I'm cleaning.
Wow.
And I got to see it clean, and I got to see how it would have looked, and I saw the room and appreciated it for the first time, in that, I had some really awesome things in there. And I just, I feel, I feel lighter.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome.
So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That just does my heart good. I'm so glad that it worked like that for you. Is it
Yeah.
um is it the first time that you've done body boundary violation work?
Well, we did some on Monday, but
Okay, so you were
it
there.
was
Okay.
Monday was more light.
Oh, you froze up a little. Okay, I don't know if it's just my computer, but she's frozen. Are you still there, Shelley? Shoot. Okay. I
Small.
don't know how.
Yeah. Oh no.
There you are.
Ah,
Okay. You cut off there. You were talking about Monday.
Monday was just little light things.
Oh,
And it just went, it was not significant, whereas tonight was significant.
good. Good. Oh, does my heart good. I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you for
You're
sharing that.
welcome. You're
Awesome.
welcome.
All right. Grace.
Yes, hi, Dawn.
Hi.
I want to share about what happened today, but at first,
Okay.
what I want to do is and I shared about what happened on Monday, about when the neighbor boy comes into my bedroom and then what I did after. And there was a third part, I believe it was a third part. Oh no, you did it tonight too, about how could I see myself in a situation where something else, I don't know, it was a little different on Monday actually. So in Monday, what came to me was I got in my dress and I got on my bicycle and I went and rode around the neighborhood, feeling free and pleasure in riding the bike and all that. Well, really interestingly, I shared this with a practitioner I see in town, and she's started seeing her having to do with movement because I was having sciatica, and then it's blossomed out into so much. And when we talk about chakras, the nervous system, the younger child, it's really quite phenomenal
Yeah.
what she carries. But she made a comment, or she just shared, let me just share, because these things come in layers. You getting on the bicycle is in a way like getting away from the experience rather than a freedom thing. It's more like a way out or a way to, and then she kind of did this, like sometimes we'll eat to do that.
Mm,
That makes sense? Because it really made sense in the moment to me when she said that. So I thought, oh, okay, that's really interesting because that's another way to look at it. It felt like a freeing thing, but at the same time, I hadn't really done anything to the guy. I
okay.
couldn't get into chippers and hatchets with cutting pricks off. I couldn't do any of that. But I could get on my bike and my dress and go ride around the neighborhood. So that's just a curiosity on my part, so I'm just curious about how I'm just curious about that actually. And I don't mean to necessarily, well, I'm just curious about it actually.
I'm not sure. I don't think I'm following your question exactly. I don't get the bicycle thing. I don't think I heard that. I'm not getting what you mean. Like in your when you rewrote the story, you rode away in your bicycle. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but it was still after the event.
Okay.
The event had still happened, but somehow I had just, I don't really know, but that's just the image that came up to me, up in my
Sure.
mind. I could see it and
Well,
feel.
and that's yeah, I mean that's a freeing thing, right? You're exiting the situation, and it's ending it on a better note. But did you say that you didn't deal with the perpetrator?
Uh, God, I don't even remember what I did. I think I might have said, get the fuck out of, I didn't use that word then, but
Yeah,
get out of here. And what do like, uh, and I was wondering why my brother, two bedrooms down, wasn't coming to see what was going on, but he was younger. So there's a lot of, actually, apparently, now that I'm talking about it, there's still some stuff there.
yeah.
So,
Well, this is the kind of thing where, like Marlene was saying, there are layers and
yeah,
there's going to be layers. But the good news is you don't have to get through every layer for it to be effective, in
Right.
your life, right? Like you can work through layer one. There might be 100 layers, who knows? I don't know. But it doesn't really matter because you work through the first few. And I have seen, and I think a lot of women here have seen that even working through the first couple of layers, can have such a profound impact.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, if I'm hearing you right, I mean, don't worry about whether you did this part of it right or whatever. Just do it again. And, maybe next time you'll kick his ass a little more,
Yeah.
you know?
The one I don't see any other hands. So is this still sharing time? And did
Yeah.
you have to teach?
Yeah. No. Yeah, we got a little bit more.
Well, the one the one that came up for me tonight it's an interesting one because not until now have I realized it was a boundary violation for sure.
Right.
And so basically what it was, I'm older now and I'm 16, something like that. I'm in high school. Some of my friends are over. They're mostly guys actually, but I can't even remember in that room whether there were other girls there. But anyway, we're sitting in the living room, family room, my house, and my boyfriend at the time is sitting right there. And the piece I remember is my mother had apparently just been in the room and said something, and she wasn't drunk at the time, so that part was okay. And then she left, and then he kind of spoke back to her, says, "Yeah, and your daughter's a really good lay."
Whoa.
Yeah, and so I don't know what I did. I think at the time I might have just sort of, sloughed it off like everybody else. I don't know if the other guy, I don't know what anybody else did in the room. I think there were about 5 of us there,
Yeah.
years. But right now, when I go through it, I think, what the, again, I wouldn't say fuck then because I didn't really use the word then, but right now I would. I was like,
Yeah.
what did you just say?
Yeah.
What I did tonight, I said, I have been so wrong about you. Get out.
Yeah.
Everybody out. And the thing was, it was like, he was, I really liked him a lot. We'd hung out and we'd smoke and we'd go to coffee before school and he was like a really good guy. So at the time I think I was just plain shocked, but I didn't even feel the
Yeah.
shock. You know what I mean? So
Well,
it's like those things are huge.
yeah.
But so I guess
It's that frozen thing.
totally.
When we're not expecting it, and especially when we're really young, but
Uh-huh.
even later, to this day, like people sometimes say things and I freeze. Like I find I have this like frozen response because you're like, did I hear that right? And I don't know, you just freeze up. And I think that it's good that you're working on that because yeah, and then replaying it and getting to say what you wish. I mean, how many things in our life do we go back and say, God, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have said that, right?
But it's kind of like a sucker punch, but actually right in the solar plexus, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a sucker.
Because you thought he was somebody else and he
Well,
wasn't.
like my friend too, but I don't know how much to get into this, but and he would sneak into my bedroom, and sometimes I'd sneak out of the window, and we'd go he'd meet, in the pool house and stuff like that, and just talk and stuff. But well, I don't know, I won't get into it more. But the fact that he said that out loud in front of friends,
Ooh, yeah.
so or even supposedly, anyway, it's creepy actually everywhere I look at it.
Yeah,
But it
yeah,
hasn't
that's a
been,
good.
yeah, it's
So
just
did you work on that one tonight, or which one did you work on tonight?
yeah.
Okay. All right, good.
So the first thing I thought, I said, what did you just say? Like really putting him on the spot.
Yeah.
I didn't have that in me at all at the time.
Right.
Because I didn't know whether to be embarrassed or shocked or creeped out or
Hmm.
I, what. So,
Yeah.
and then I just slapped him across the face and said, get out, everybody out.
I love it.
It's not okay. That was not yours to share, first of all.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, but
Good. So I assume you feel better because I would.
I feel better, but I also feel real amped up because I hadn't really thought about it.
Yeah. It might be something that you're going to want to work on a little bit more because
Yeah.
it seemed like it was unexpected. Like it came up
Yeah.
maybe unexpectedly, it seems like. Yeah,
There's like
that's a good one.
there's a lot of patterns in there that
Yeah.
were breached, really. I mean, there's a lot of
Mm,
what do you call boundaries breached on many levels.
yes,
So,
many levels. And
and
that taking your power back in a moment like that, oh,
yeah,
just feels so good.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks for sharing. Okay, Sherry.
Well, I was going to say maybe Marlene ought to go first just because mine's going to take in a little different direction.
Oh, okay. Hey, Marlene.
I was just gonna say, like on like when I think of sex, I think of it as a loving, intimate intercourse, as a very private ordeal. And when I find, until these last quite a few years where women have gotten very vulgar, I did not like that vulgarity. To me, that's vulgar, like saying something like, "Oh, what a good lay." What a lack of etiquette, and just
Yes.
how rude when you have intimacy with someone to them to act like it was a piece of meat. And
Mm-hmm.
that just, I'll have to work on that one for a while, but that has just disgusted me through my lifetime when men speak of women that way, or I don't find that a compliment at all if somebody says you're a good
Mm-hmm.
lay. Like, I don't find it a compliment because
It's
that takes all
vile.
the intimacy out of it. It just turns
Yeah.
you into an animal. And
Yeah.
anyways, I just wanted to say that I could feel your pain on that one, girl. Yeah,
No, thank you for sharing that. All
yeah,
right.
thanks.
Great. Okay, Sherry. And we'll end with Sherry.
Okay. And I just want to say, I had the same issue with the term sexy. It is
Okay.
very cheap to me, as far as I just, it doesn't feel classy. So I've had to rewrite that when I've heard like the mind movies or things like that. I've had to
Mm.
rewrite the word. But anyway, and I don't have an issue with sex, but I just, that term, you know.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, well, we all get to decide, for ourselves, like what we accept. And if that,
mhm.
I get it. I get it. You get, it'd be nicer to say there's so many things you could say about someone, right? Doesn't have to be that. But for someone else, maybe that's a compliment. I'm not
Yeah,
going to judge, but I
right.
understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm also going to warn you just ahead of time that I've been having trouble with my internet. So if
Oh,
suddenly I freeze and you can't hear me, or I'll just say goodbye and thank you. Okay,
okay.
move on.
Okay.
But my issue was about being mocked as a child for having learning disabilities that I didn't know I had, that nobody knew about,
Yeah.
and being called dumb and not being able to do things. And the worst part was my second grade teacher who told my mother that I should have been in the class for mentally handicapped children, that I didn't belong in a regular classroom. My mother was a first and second grade teacher, so she believed her. This woman told her and had this attitude all through, and I'm sure put it in the notes that went on to the next teacher and the next teacher and the next teacher, that I was stupid and incapable, and she told my mother not to expect me to graduate from high school. And so my mom, who could have been helping me and chose not to, through my school years, she never sat and helped me learn to read. She never sat and did anything with me. It just continued more neglect, more of the emotional neglect that was going on in the home already. I think she was happy to let the TV babysit me and watch me, and I could just eat since I was so skinny already. But I envisioned, I had a lot of fun deciding that I rewrote the history to be that I was the valedictorian of my graduating class. And I showed her,
Nice.
and that, just, and for her to be there, just, gaping mouth shocked. I think
Yeah, that's good.
so. This is, to learn on Monday that anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, that puts you down, is a body violation. Was interesting for me because I didn't think I had these really as a child, but my
Yeah.
whole life I thought I was unacceptable to society, to school. There was nothing I had a value to offer,
Wow. Oh my
mainly because
goodness.
of this woman.
Yeah. My heart goes out for you to you so much. I've got two neurodivergent kids, and I had to fight and ultimately never put them in the public school system because of, won't get into it, but my heart feels what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I love that you rewrote it the way you did. That
And
was beautiful.
yeah, it was like, I'm going to show you. But I
Yes.
believed it. I believed all these things. I didn't fight against people's, what they said about me. I couldn't read, I couldn't do math, I couldn't do sports, I couldn't do all these different things.
Hmm.
And then I was sick a lot. And so I think that my body decided to be sick so I didn't have to deal with the stuff at school.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you were a kid. You couldn't, of course, you didn't fight back. I mean, you were a kid. You were being told by adults that these things were true. Oh my gosh. Like, my autistic son told me one time that if I had listened to the public school system and put him in an autistic class, he doesn't know who he would be today. So,
Mhm.
he was a kid. I mean, you guys have no power. But see, the great thing about this is you can take that power back,
Mhm.
right? I just applaud you and love the way you rewrote that.
And my first year in college, where I kind of was let on, kind of let in, kind of, they were trying it out to see, I can't think of the word, but it was like a test, kind of the first semester.
Sure.
I ended up getting almost straight A's, and I ended up within a year or two getting a full ride academic scholarship.
Oh, see, oh my God, I love that. Oh my goodness, I love that so much. I will tell you really briefly, like I had the same situation with my son because the woman from the public school system was trying to force him into an autistic class, and I said no and walked away, and she said I was ruining my child's life. 3 years later, my other son was getting tested, and she asked me how my first son was doing. I said he is in first grade, reading at a fifth grade reading level. He's top of his class at a private school. That is how my child is doing. So it's that same feeling of, you were right,
Right.
It's a fantastic feeling. So good work. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Thanks for sharing that.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, with that, I'm going to thank you all so much for being here, you guys. Thank you for your hard work. I just love y'all. I love this class. I'm really glad you were here. And I guess we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.